Good morning, and you're watching GhOne TV. It's now time for Hard Talk. And yesterday, even us, we here, we were sucked into this phony reshuffle thing, so we apologize.
Did you feel the tone in my voice when
Yes,
I was reading
that
so-called statement?
Yes, because we thought we got it from a credible source. We're not going to name him, who sent us that. Well, we should have even done more checks. But it's an issue that has plagued this country over a while. And I'll just give you a few examples. So, in the recent past, we have heard not only about this reshuffle that never was, we've also heard that Kwabena Japan from the NPP had resigned. We also heard that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had resigned. We also heard that Dr. Nyahu Tamaklo was chastising Dambuche of the NPP. We also heard that Nana Addo made some comments about the Gitmo ex-detainees, that he agreed he had been consulted, and but they should come in. We also heard that the president was fighting with a former president of Nigeria, Obasanjo. There was an Obasanjo Mahama rift that was going on. Everything was false, and everything was spread through social media. Now, what exactly is going on? Why are we some of us using social media to spread such information? Every day I get press releases from hitherto unknown groups, friends of social, and they are sending out a press release, and they're intending you to broadcast it because you're a media house. How do we protect ourselves against being used by people who want to take social media to a different level and spread whatever information they have for their own agendas?
Usually falsehood.
Falsehoods. Basically, you've been following this for a while, haven't you?
Oh, yes, I have. And everything that you say, I believe resonates with me as well. Today, it's somebody resigning, which turns out not to be true. Later on, you get this disclaimer to say that, no, it isn't. And then you're asking yourself, I mean, really? I mean, why would you want to put falsehood out if you were trying to communicate? Why do you get what I'm saying? So I think this is something that we should be looking at. Indeed, it couldn't have been a better conversation for today.
And joining us today, we have a social media strategist and MD of Pop Out Ghana, Maximus Ametogo. Max, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Max.
First of all, you're welcome. Why are you wearing red, by the way?
Yeah, Red Friday.
Okay. We'll talk about that.
Well, that's
later.
not the reason I'm wearing this, though.
Okay, no
this is just fashion.
But before we even jump into this conversation on the implications of the misuse of social media, are you also experiencing this power issues?
Unfortunately, I'm still on the old meter system.
Unfortunately?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
You should say fortunately. You want to be on the old system.
Yeah,
you don't want to get
I
to the
want
new
to
system.
just please the PURC.
Okay.
As a technology person, some of us had problem with the prepaid meter. I've made it known on some platforms.
Okay. What exactly do you have wrong with it?
Yeah, if you don't have supply consistently available, why do you want people to prepay for the service that's not available in the first place? Now, power surges and all that affects the magnetic component in the meters, so it makes reading quite difficult. Even some people will tell you if our temperature, weather also affects some of these devices. So reading will not be stable, will keep changing over time. Sometimes if you put like a chip, a card in your pocket and gets into contact with a magnetic object, it changes the reading. Sometimes even what they call deactivates the card. So some of this, and there are a lot of problems with using some of these technologies. So I was not surprised some people were compensated because the machine was reading wrongly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll have to invite PRC and have a big discussion on these issues. But let's go straight into our conversation. Implications of misinformation through social media. We want to find out how best to handle social media so that it doesn't become a minefield of misinformation. Now, what exactly, what is your reading of what is happening in Ghana? I listed all these examples of how people have used social media to further certain agendas. What is your reading, first of all, of what's going on or what has gone on in the past?
Yeah, Kafri, I think it's not unique to social media. It's something that is across various media platforms. So you have newspapers churning out false news, and some radio station will carry it, some TV station will carry the same news. And word of mouth also happens. People gossip, people monger rumor all over the place, right? So it's not different for it to go on the social media platforms. The fact is that it starts with a human being. somebody who wants to misinform people. It starts with a fraudster who wants to maybe just churn out some information to defame other people. So it's not unique to social media. But the power social media wields in terms of real-time content delivery makes it more problematic, to use that word, to use social media. So people think social media has a cutting edge, which makes it more dangerous or harmful to churn out news quickly to a large number of people.
And it's the instantaneous effect, isn't it? Today I was listening to the radio on the way here, and the French Prime Minister was talking about the refugee crisis in Europe. And he said the people had to be very careful about what they say, because you make a statement and then within 1 minute your words are being broadcast in Syria, thousands of miles away, and a would-be refugee is reading it on his phone or her phone and taking action based on what you said. So this instant communication, is that the game changer in this business of sending information out which may be false?
Yeah, that's basically it. Believe you me, every media is social. If I hear the news from GhOne, I'll tell friends, I'll tell family members, I'll spread it. So I'll be an extension of GhOne TV. Now, social media makes it quicker and easier for me to push it to my virtual friends easily on their platforms, and they can read on their Facebook pages, on their WhatsApp groups or chats. So it makes it easier. Pushing the news becomes more real time. Now we are fascinated about the idea that, okay, I'm the first person to break that particular news. So in the digital space, delay means decay. So if the news comes and is fresh, we want to push it as quick as possible to reach more people, for them to know that, hey, I got the latest of news. We are also addicted to that kind of virtual hunger to get news fresh, you know. So I was the first person to hear it, or I was the first person to receive it, and you may be the first person to spread the false news.
But what happened to background checks? I mean, in all of this, it's so evident that it means that in as much as we are hungry for news, what's making the headlines, that we definitely need to do some due diligence.
A lot of people don't do that. That's why it's necessary that we have what I call protocols. If the president is sending out a press release, I should go to the website of Flagstaff House or the presidency. That should be the first stop for verifying every news. The news should be there before it goes to any other media platform. So there should be a primary media source from the presidency.
I remember when I was in university, anytime somebody came up with some news, the first thing we would say in the Vanda City is source. Source.
Yes.
Source. We'll just ask you for the source. I mean, you can't come and tell us some fairy tale and expect us to swallow it. What is the source? So we should just take this behavior into the virtual world.
So I hear the news and I have to check on GhOne website to make sure it's from a reliable source. Social media is more of a complementary media. So that's why when people are posting stuff, they give you links to their website or links to the article, and then they source credit wherever the news is coming from. But when it moves to WhatsApp, for example, people don't cross-check. They just read what is posted because they trust the person who is posting it or the person who is sending the information. And they'll be falsely informed because you won't have any source credit there. And sometimes they can even pick somebody's letterhead and they just type some news items on it and then convert it to PDF, and they are sending it via the virtual platforms. There must be a way of checking. Check the reliable media sources, whether traditional or virtual. So if there's an online platform where I can verify the news, I go there first before I start spreading that particular news. And if there's no source credit to a very crucial information as reshuffling of ministers, I think you should just take the pinch of salt. Yeah.
And just on what you are saying, I guess as you mentioned, check for the source. I went to the Flagstaff House Facebook page, and this is the message, 21st January, this was yesterday, at 8:16, around about the time, I think in response to the news that went around. So the message was, "Good morning, kindly ignore a list of new appointments making the rounds via WhatsApp platforms. The Office of the President has issued no such statement. All official statements are first issued via the official email address and posted on the Flagstaff House Facebook page. Thanks, SXD, who I believe is Stan Jose Dogbe, Media Office, Flagstaff House Communications Bureau, Office of the President, Flagstaff House, Kanda, Accra, Ghana. So that should be the first call if you hear of anything that's supposed to be coming from the official source.
That's from the Flagstaff House, and I was expecting Stan to use his full name or tag himself in that statement, not to use
his initials.
Initials, because that's the same thing people used in spreading the same news.
Okay.
So then definitely they can't get the right signature.
Yes.
Signature. So
it
have
should
to
be
use
your name.
initials. Do you think, Matt, do you think that social media is undermining traditional media?
I don't think social media is undermining traditional media. It's just that people are abusing the power of social media. So they are undermining the protocols that goes with spreading information. Okay, there's this issue with traditional media, social media. Quality is something that traditional media wills over social media, because a lot of people don't do cross-checking when they receive information on social media. They depend on the person who is sending, the trust or how they know, the extent to which they know the person who is sending information to believe the news that is being distributed to them.
Plus they have a delay. I mean, the Graphic Times, all the papers, they have a one-day delay, so they can, and they're all, some of them are sounding quite righteous today. I was reading through the papers and they were talking about how radio stations and TV stations were fighting over themselves to broadcast the news. But trust me, if this had stayed for another day, the papers would have picked it up.
That's the problem. Now, most of the traditional media are tapping live from the social media.
Yeah.
Okay, they should not just praise themselves for that, because you have that, what do you call it, the time period to be able to cross-check stuff.
And I'm pretty sure if we went to their Facebook pages or their websites, they would have been broadcasting those stories.
And you find most of our newspapers today coming back to, is it rejoinders?
Yes.
You know, So now they're having to take back what has been reported early on. You know,
so it's the same challenge.
So my point is, I don't think you answered it, rightly for me. But well, I guess that in the course of the conversation, we're going to be raising the National Media Commission on phone. George Sapon will be talking to us, and of course, Kwame Ahebeno is with Pens Plus Bytes. He's also a media guru, and he's done so much with the elections and what have you. We'll be speaking to them as well. But let's get back to you. I'm sorry about that one. I'm tempted to believe that in as much as, yes, we all want the scoop, everybody wants to be the first to report it. That definitely is the reason why that the people who kind of also circulate the falsehood, are kind of urged on to do more.
Yeah.
Because, then it happens, we come back to condemn it, it happens again. The issue that happened yesterday, for instance.
Yeah.
What has happened, What has come of it, apart from the fact that Flagstaff House has come to condemn it and say that, oh, this is a hoax, this is not exactly what, this is not coming out of the Flagstaff House.
Yeah, I think it boils down to the same thing, that a newspaper will also publish false news, and then they will tell you from a credible source. They never mention the credible source, and they will defame somebody wrongly, and we consume it because it's printed. Social media, in fact, democratizes the news publishing channel. So I have my account, which serves as my media channel, that I can broadcast content to anybody. Now, if I get that same information, I want my friends to know about it. Now, if whether it's true or false, I may not know. And sometimes you consume it because somebody sent it to you. So I'll post it on my Facebook page. Okay, reshuffling of ministers. That's it. Now,
I think the point is, what I'm trying to actually is the kind of the quest to always want to be the first to put it out there. Is that not what is giving that power to social media?
It's the same thing that gives the power to traditional media too. Okay. So breaking news, and then they are churning out the news. So like I said, cross-check the organization. If it's from Flagstaff House, make a phone call and make sure, okay, is it from your end? And that should be your breaking news.
That should be the breaking news. That has been verified.
It's been verified.
Let's go to the phones right now. Speak with Mr. George Sapong. He's from the National Media Commission Executive Secretary. George, good morning. Happy New Year to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Kafui. George, are you going to punish all of us who broadcast the fake news today?
No. We have never been interested in punishment. And in any case, the orientation of the commission is not on issues like that. I guess that you are asking this cap in relation to the new law. All that the new law requires is that operators of networks to put in the systems that enable them to protect material that they put out. That's all.
But George, listen, and especially with what we do, some of the information put out there, when it turns out to be wrong, is unpardonable.
The line is terribly bad. I think please get a question.
Okay, George, sorry once again. This is Beisua. Are you close to your TV?
You can mute it.
Pardon me?
Mute your TV and speak straight through the phone, sir.
That is if you're close to one.
I'm not close to television at all. I mean, I've passed my car.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get this to work. I'm saying that, look, for what we do, some of the information that we put out there, if it turns out not to be true, is unpardonable.
Oh, my sister, those are terrible. I can hardly hear.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's see if we can, yes. Let's see if we can fix the line, and we'll get back to Mr. George Sapong. He is indeed the Executive Secretary of the National Media Commission. I was trying to pick his thoughts on that one. Because we say here, time without number, that the mistakes that we put out there, we're informing our viewers. Yeah. And you want to be sure that whatever information that you were putting out is what? The truth. Yeah. You know, doesn't carry any falsehood. Yeah. And sometimes we say that it's unpardonable. Indeed it is. You know, we'll try and get him back on phone. But let's come back to the question that I was asking you before we went on to the phone lines. I was talking about how that the quest to want to be the first to carry it, it's kind of given that power to social media, like we see play out now. Yeah,
I think basically that's about it. Social media is real-time media. Okay, so there's no production manager, there's no content manager. The one who owns the account is the production manager, the executive director, the cameraman, and whatever. So when the information comes, because you have that urge to fulfill that virtual thirst for information, when we consume the news, you want to also spread it. So the news goes viral. Everybody wants to know about reshuffling. So, okay, let me send it to my friends who may be interested in it. So you push it on various platforms, and based on the trust that they have for you, they also send it to their friends, and then it gains currency.
Mag, let's come back to you. I think Mr. George Sapong is back on phone. Hello, Mr. George Sapong.
Good morning, my sister.
Hi, good morning, George. George, this is Beisua.
Okay, Beisua, how are you?
Very well, thank you. It's been ages, but we'll talk after the show. Yeah, so I was asking, in fact, I was actually saying that, look, for what we do here, you know, the kind of information that we put out there, we want to be sure that it's the truth. And indeed, if it turns out not to be, it is unpardonable. What do you say to that?
Well, we will say, please correct it once you notice the mistake. And I think that there are very easy avenues for honest professional journalists to easily correct information if they turn out to be untrue. The law only kicks in situations where the infractions are so egregious as would threaten our collective safety in the society. It is not for matters like these. In any case, the ethical principle in journalism is that we pursue the truth. And as soon as we discover that some material that we put out in honest pursuit of the truth turns out not to be the truth, we should just candid with our listeners and viewers to say we have discovered that there was an error with this information and this is the truth. That's all.
Has the NMC found a reason to engage the media houses on social media?
There are questions about dealing with social media that also presents a very interesting scenario on its own. We have a new law that deals generally with content of electronic communication. And we expect that network operators will also take responsibility for what goes on the network. But essentially, between social media and traditional media, our encouragement is that traditional media is run by professional people, properly trained, either on the job or through journalism to do their work. And therefore, they should understand the challenges that social media presents. So they don't just go uplift anything from social media and put on the street. And in that sense, it is not different from taking any kind of rumor or gossip at a shop bar and putting it on radio. Because essentially, social media is not different from TikTok.
Well, I'm asking this because the disadvantages definitely seem to outnumber the advantages. And I mean,
I still think that there is a lot of advantage in social media in offering all of us an opportunity to share ideas, share information, share jokes, and sometimes also to just play pranks on our own selves. As a society, we can't always be very serious with everything. So when you see social media, I think that you should treat it for what it is. I mean, the terminology social in itself should tell you that we are within a certain enclave. If I sit at a funeral, at an outdoors, at a church event, and I hear people talk about something, as a journalist, if I'm interested in pursuing it, what I need to do is to use that information as a lead, and then put on my journalistic cap and investigate that story. So if I have somebody just making a statement of the funeral, and I run to my studio to carry that on air, that is certainly not professional. And so that's what I'll encourage our colleagues to notice. That social media should not confuse them simply because we say it is media. And therefore, whatever they find that they bring into traditional media, that should not be the case.
George, on that note, and I put this question to our studio guests, let me put this to you as well. Would you say that social media is undermining traditional media? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, George, I'm asking okay, let me take a position on this one. Would you say that social media is undermining the relevance of traditional media?
No. Social media is
relevance being the key word here.
Hello?
I'm saying relevance being the key word here.
No, it's just so extremely relevant. But understand this for what it is. It is only a microcosm of the normal social life that we see. As we sit in trucks, people are talking. As we walk on the street, people are talking. You understand?
Yeah.
And we don't take any one of them and run to the studio to run out the story. So let us understand that social media is only a virtual world where people have an opportunity to express their own thoughts and views, and it should not be on any guided thought. So if I'm going there as a professional, it is important that I know it for what it is. The social world, either in real world or in virtual world, will continue to live. Even with our social media, we were still holding gossip amongst ourselves as friends, as colleagues, even as enemies. You understand?
Right,
Yes.
George.
So let us use social media for what it is.
Right. Listen, George, I'm reading today's daily graphic, page 3, and the chairman of the National Media Commission, Mr. Kwesi Jana-Penting, has described social media use as tricky and has said that at the moment there is no specific protocol for regulating social media. What does the National Media Commission intend to do about this?
If you would recall that the electronic
Communication.
content standards instruments that we just put out recently deals generally with electronic communications, including social media. And there, we place obligations on the network operators to ensure that their networks are not used to undermine society. It's not in any way to limit for a second the kinds of things that go on social media. Human beings and progressive societies still require avenues for people to add their views, for people to share information, for people to just, live their lives.
George, when you are saying the obligation has been put on the network operators. Our guest here, Maximus Ametogo, who is a social media expert, was shaking his head.
Yeah.
You don't agree? I want Maximus to just come in and air his views on this.
That statement means that it means that, okay, the telecom company is a pipeline. They should control the water that flows through it. It doesn't happen like that.
Unfortunately, I can't hear him.
Well, what Maximus is saying is that it means that the telcos are now the pipeline. So they will control the flow of information.
No, they can't control it because most of these platforms are encrypted. So the WhatsApp guys can't read your messages.
Okay.
So it's end-to-end protocols. So the telecom company sits in the middle. So they connect you from the sender. It connects the sender to the receiver.
So let's break it down.
So
you mean the telcos cannot?
They cannot control that.
No, Maximus. You know that principle that they sit at the gateway of public communications. If something happens in there that is dangerous, they have the capacity. They want to take it down to take it down.
Yeah, but
it's not for them to become public editors in order to regulate the conversations going on. That in itself would be transaction.
George.
All that the law requires is that in situations where something happens there that can threaten our collective survival as a society, if there's a requirement on them to take it down, they should do so.
George.
But they should not get into the network to seek to enforce any rules there.
Listen, George, let's take it back to the supposed reshuffle that wasn't. Are you saying by what you just said that the telcos could have stopped this message from flowing?
they can't stop.
It is not. Can we let us be very honest with you? If somebody announces a reshuffle and the reshuffle turns out to be a hoax, all that is required is what the government has done. Explain that it was a hoax. This doesn't bring society down. This is not as egregious as would want any one of us to think that something has happened that can bring this nation down. It's a kind of embarrassment to the people named or to government or to... But, my brother, this won't bring down society. So this is not the kind of matter that we should worry our heads over as if you would require some regulatory intervention. I do not think so. All that is needed is what the government has rightfully done. And I think they have done it successfully. To explain that no, this did not come from us, it is not accurate. All the media houses, traditional media that may have picked this news, they have an obligation to say, if we did announce this, we have realized the error and therefore we want to correct it.
Point taken.
It seems to me that should be enough.
Point taken, George. But I was just seeking some clarification from what the chairman of the National Commission said. He said there is no specific regulatory protocol on social media now. Is it the position of the commission that you would like us to have some specific regulatory protocol on social media?
No. What the chairman, I believe, is indicating is that as a result of that, those of us who have the opportunity in traditional media, let us keep in mind that traditional media has the power of legitimation that social media does not have. Social media keeps a lot of doubt around its fault. But the moment we import material from social media onto traditional media, we have elevated it to a certain pedestal of credibility. And that is what the chairman is advising. That those of us working in traditional media, even though social media may provide useful information, we should only treat it as a need and do further investigation and further professional work on it before we put it out.
George, you're a lawyer. If you were to publish something false about me on social media, can I take you to court?
It is a live issue that you would have to deal with. First of all, the question of evidence. How do you prove that it is indeed George Sapon who put it out and that it was not somebody operating under an identity theft? You would need to establish that before the court, that indeed it is George Sapon who put this one out. If you are able to do that, it appears to me that the court would listen to you. Next, you will still have to fulfill the law, that indeed the material that the person put out is offensive or defamatory, and then you have a cause of action in law.
So I mean, what I get is that we are not able to trace the sources of some of these things that come up on social media. That's what you're saying in effect.
It is a very important fact. Even before the advent of social media, you would recall that most universities had a lot of courses for their students in using the internet as a tool for research. And it is principally because of these identity and non-verification questions on the entire internet. So we all need, to a certain degree, be very, very careful how we import material from there into our lives. I want to just keep repeating. Social media is not different from Obra Sport at Ramin Kuma Circle. We should not be misled by the attraction of technology to misunderstand that the content on social media is not different from the kinds of things we do at our Accra Sports Stadium, or the kinds of things that we do at we say amongst ourselves as boys at Lomnava or any such place, or the kinds of things that we say on Sunday mornings when we go to eat omutu. You understand? We should not take ourselves too seriously when it comes to social media. And if you're a journalist and you're picking material from social media, understand the risk you run.
Okay, I think, Kafi.
Yeah, and the risk being, what's the risk?
The risk is that this essentially is non-verifiable information. And therefore, if you are interested in it, then you should carry out the job of verification to be sure that as a media house, you can stand by the story before you put it out.
But George, what you're saying also leads me to think, if you are saying that somebody puts out information about me which is false, and I need to prove that the person's account wasn't hacked, and he proved, what about Flagstaff House putting out information on their Facebook page? How can I know that that information has not been falsified? Why should I believe that?
Well, again, it is the same challenge. First of all, when Flagstaff House chooses social media as an avenue for communication, they should realize that it bears this risk. Okay? So it is not only the user's risk. It is the source risk as well. And then if I go to social media seeking to access information from government, whatever I find that is purported to come from government, I should understand that there's some risk that it may not be true. So both ways, all of us operating on social media need to have those psychological safeguards. And I think that it is something that everybody needs to take serious.
Okay, Mr. George Tapon, many thanks for your time this morning.
God bless all of you.
Amen.
And you, look, I think I agree in part.
Yeah.
You know, traditional media definitely jumps on everything news, you know, in quotes.
Yeah.
And I think that as a credible news source, you want to be sure that you're having your facts are right. Yeah. But the bits where he talks about hacking of, you know, accounts and all of that, and so that you have tarnished the person's image. Look at the situation with yesterday's, for instance, I made mention of the fact that I didn't mention names though. The fact that for me, some of the changes, it's kind of a downgrade. Yeah. You know, and I heard people mention names and say the same thing that I said. And if I was this person, I definitely would feel bad.
It's true.
And so I get the point that you were trying to make. I don't think that I got the answers from Mr. Sapon, a very good friend. But
NMC, they are behind time. They should know that the social media is new media, is the future of media. Now, traditional media thrives on social media because it extends your channel. Okay, it increases your coverage area. Instead of people sitting by their television set and watching, they can read it on their Facebook news feed or Twitter feed.
Yeah,
so
that's how some people are consuming our show right now. They are consuming based on the Twitter live tweets that we are doing.
So you announce your handle, you announce your Facebook address. So I go there and like it because I know it's GH1 TV. So any news that comes through it, I believe is coming from you. So I think the NMC should think about that. And then the next thing is, like I said, the telcos cannot stop any sharing of content. The only thing they can do is block the website. So they can block Facebook, they can block Twitter, or block WhatsApp, which is also against international convention.
Indeed, WhatsApp was blocked in Brazil recently.
Yes, so they can do that. But you can't block the sending of information through WhatsApp. So you can only block the channel, like shutting down a TV station or a radio station.
I mean, for me, now I'm thinking about what this will even mean if we're able to do all these blockings that you didn't suggest. Do you remember that some time ago, several years back, there was this host of an alert on earthquake, something to do with earthquake, that, you know, got people panicking and all of that.
And there's one on Ebola.
So these things didn't start today. I mean, since that time, what have we done? You know, to have arrived at this point where now it's become, you know, a very serious issue that we're having this conversation.
You know, the former boss of NITA, when the Ebola thing came, you heard some lady talking about the fact that they were at the meeting in Kufodria and Ebola was already in Ghana and government is covering up and all that. So he went on one of the radio stations and said they're going to work with WhatsApp to find the person who sent that particular audio in 2 weeks. It's almost 2 years.
You can't find the audio?
The source. It's
but the thing is that you
source.
need to have online gatekeepers. Countries have cyber crime departments.
What's our situation in Ghana?
We don't have anything like that. The government is thinking of setting up something like that. So when the information starts moving, there are applications that you even use to track traffic. So you can see the kind of content that is trending.
What does that
like
mean
the way
for
we have
Ghana
on
if we
Twitter?
don't have this gateway that you're talking about?
Yes,
What
so
does that mean
this
for us?
kind of false information,
now.
defamation, and deceit and all that will be happening on social media.
Max, somebody's asking, okay, I've been hacked. Somebody has entered my account and is now sending messages out of my account. It's happened to me a few times where I'm supposed to have been in Libya on a trip somewhere. Somebody picked my pockets, and so I don't have any money, and I'm sending out requests for my friends to drop some cash. Recently, I also found out that I became a billionaire. I'd won some plenty money somewhere, you know. It's
and why did that surprise you? For somebody who gives millions to people,
it's email, and I'm wondering. So, how do you protect yourself from being hacked?
Yeah, I think, you see, reality is clarity. Okay, you've not won any promotion. So if they send you an email that you've won a promotion, you delete the email. You don't reply it. Okay.
What happens if you reply?
When you reply, sometimes some applications that we use can even monitor when an email is open, the number of times you've clicked it, or if you forward it to another email. I can pull all the emails from your email address book, and then I'll send the same information to other people. And some of these things are automated. So they design viruses that do that automatically. And sometimes they infect your machine, and then they use that machine to attack other systems, to shut them down or hack the systems. So that's what they do. Cyber crime is huge globally. In fact, it's more lucrative than the drug industry. So it's people's passion and dream to do that. So they hide behind the dark side of the web and do all this scamming stuff. So that's why it's important. You log off your devices, you log off, you sign off on your emails, so don't leave it open. Okay, so when you're done with your email, just log off, change your password frequently, and those are the things that you need. And so all this social engineering stuff that you've won something, 30 million, so send us 10% of the amount so that we transfer the money to you. It's pure deceit. You know it's a lie. It's like somebody walking to you and saying, Kafi, I know you. I want to give you 1 million cedis, but give me 10,000 first.
It's advance fee fraud.
Yes.
Can your WhatsApp account be hacked?
WhatsApp is difficult, really. It's difficult to be hacked if you have your phone. If you don't have your phone, then somebody owns that.
Is it because it has to come through the telcos?
Yeah, it has to go through a phone number. So it means you have to have the physical phone present to be able to do that. Okay, unless somebody saves coffee, 2 coffees, and then you send the information, they confuse you for the other person. Otherwise, if you have your phone with you, it can't be hacked like the other one, the platforms.
On the issue of hacking still, let's say that your phone is stolen how are you able to protect information?
The first way to protect your information is not to keep it on the device.
Okay.
Okay, no pictures, sending anybody any picture. I always say that. Don't send anybody picture. Don't keep personal information on your phone. Store it on a Google Drive or a Dropbox. Is online. You log off. Somebody gets
Google Drive
access.
is still online. And are you saying that nobody can hack into my Google Drive, for instance?
That's why they have their system administrators who make sure that they check every instruction that calls on content from the platform. So they
The kind
can
of
tell
system that you
if
were
they are
suggesting
hackers.
that as a country
Yes,
we
you
need.
should have something like that. So they monitor all the activities on the web. So if you log off on all the apps that you use, and you log off, you lock your device, if somebody steals it, they can't access your content. But if you have those photos in your photo album, when they have your phone, and sometimes when your screen cracks and needs replacement, you can't switch it on before you send it for repairs. So the guy who is repairing your phone can have access to your pictures or your information.
Okay, I
Get a few
if you-
messages.
yes,
Let me see,
If you're still watching, we're live on GH1 TV. It is your favorite morning show, GH Today, and you are with your TV royals, King Calf himself, myself, your Queen Bee, and our guests.
Max.
And we've also been talking
Yes, indeed.
to the Executive Secretary of the NMC, the National Media Commission. We're discussing the issue with social media. Is social media becoming a disadvantage now? We're told that social media is the future, but how are we working to get it to benefit us the more than disadvantages?
Sure.
Okay.
Got some messages here on WhatsApp 02885 00600. Brian Nana Kwesi in Achimota says, now it's even scary because information on social media, you don't even know how reliable it is, and it makes information sharing on social media hard. You have these worries too, or because you are an expert, you know these things?
Yes, you must check stuff. You know, even friend request. I have to check how old your account is, what is your name, actual name. So if I see Kweku and it's a female picture, I won't accept it. And
Maybe
I
it's
can
his
have to
girlfriend.
check the number of
Maybe it's his
mutual
girlfriend.
friends that
Maybe
we
it's his
have.
girlfriend. Maybe it's Kweku's girlfriend. He's honoring his girlfriend for the
Yes,
week.
that's one of the ways to check. But I have to check the mutual friends that we have in common. If you have more mutual friends, it means that there's a way of tracking.
Yes.
you.
Then our celebrities have a problem here, because then now they are trending
You have like
based
a
on the
million
following.
followers.
You
Most
know,
of them-
and some of, and most of them are just accepting requests because they need the following, to, in order to remain relevant.
You see, the setup with the celebrities, theirs is more of a fan page. The fan page, you don't need to accept the request. It's just a fan page. You click like, and you are following the person automatically. So they don't need to accept unless they have a personal profile,
Yeah.
which
No,
they need to accept.
Facebook is still a request.
No, Facebook,
Oh,
there
so
are
once you
two
create
different
the
pages.
page-
Yes.
There's a personal
Okay.
profile page,
And then the fan
there's a
page.
public
Oh,
page, which
okay,
is
so
called
just
the
the
fan
like
page.
page.
So the celebrities, because you are restricted to 5,000 friends on the
Yeah.
personal page,
Exactly.
but you are not restricted on the public page.
You
And
know, this is bigger than Facebook.
Yes.
So,
Oh, please.
yeah. More messages.
Don't even go there.
More messages. Misinformation on social media can create a problem between people, and it can bring hatred among friends and can result in conflict too. That's from Samuel inside Kumasi. He says good morning to all his friends, especially Abena Adepa, if you are inside Accra. He likes our outfits. So it can bring problems between friends.
yes,
Let's see a few more. Someone hacked my Facebook account and started sending pornographic videos on my timeline. What do I do?
those hacks sometimes are not by people, they are by robots or viruses. So you see a link and then there's a play button on it. Sometimes you just need to roll over that play button and then you see it animated. If it's not animated, it's likely to be a robot or a virus. When you click on it, it gets access to your account and they can send content without you knowing.
Yeah, because
So
it's
not
not
a
That's
human
very
being who is
serious.
you see
Yeah.
porn videos on
Yes,
somebody's
that
timeline.
is very serious.
Is it a reflection of where that person was going?
Yes, so they are digital trails. So they took some.
So this man will like porn.
Yeah.
So let's drop some here.
So sometimes it's just a video.
Okay.
some accident somewhere.
Okay.
Sometimes they used to tease you with that one. Oh, this is an accident. Somebody died. Their leg is cut off.
Click.
You know, click on it, and you click on it, then you realize it's taking you to like 4 different websites before you get to that place. You are
That's
done.
what they call clickbait.
Yeah, so clickbait, and then that's why you need to change your password. So that
Okay, so Zach in Tamale says, so the police can't investigate to find these social media culprits. Is our police equipped, Max?
they are not.
I thought they had a social cyber crime unit.
They're the CID, they have something like that, but they are not equipped to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which you got
I mean,
any
as we,
messages?
yeah, I'm trying to retrieve some from Facebook, but like, I mean, as we wrap it all up, I mean, what are the next steps? Yes, we get it that we definitely have to be careful what information we're even putting out there, and it's traditional media houses. We're picking information on social media, so we want to do our background checks before we put them out, so that hey, you're sure what you're putting out. What is the way forward? The next steps?
The next step is that social media is the future. So as a media house or as a government institution or as a security agency, you need to position yourself there. The people are talking about the police, they are talking about theft, they are talking about stealing, they are talking about fraud on the social media platform, which relates to the kind of work you are doing. They are talking about democracy, politics, fuel hikes. Government needs to be there to listen to what the citizens are talking about. It means that you need to have a credible presence. You need to advertise your social media handles or addresses. So the next time a press release goes out, the president's social media handles should be on it. The Flagstaff House social media handles needs to be on it. So if I go on social media, I'm going to that particular account to get verified or credible news. The next is the tone of news, the tone of the message. Okay, when the president they are writing from the office of the president, they use a kind of tone, serious, professional way of writing the language, using legal content. So you need to make sure that that kind of tone is in the message. Okay. So when they push it through a WhatsApp, you know this is not the way the president writes, or this is not how the chief of staff writes press releases.
Right.
Okay. Now the primary channels must be known. What is the first point of call? Is it their website, their social media page, or the media houses? If I go to the media houses and there's no cross-checking or a third person to confirm this, then it means it's not the right place to consume your news. And the public should not be vulnerable. If they send you such information, just don't push it. If you can't cross-check, don't spread the news.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, that's Maximus Ametogo. You can follow him on Twitter, by the way, at Maxi Here, Maxihere. If there were a minister for social media, he would be the minister, I'm telling you. And he's wearing red because today is Red Friday. So what happens? You go somewhere and hang around with some friends, all in red? Or?
Yeah, we are hanging out on social media.
On social media, okay.
Fashion protests.
All right, so a red, you're protesting against what's going on in Ghana.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Maximus Ametogo, social media activist, MD of Pop Out Ghana, and he's been telling us how to protect ourselves from using social media in a negative way.